Welcome back. It's time for us to talk about land administration in Ghana. And to discuss this, we're talking about this in the light of the fact that the statutes are scattered all over. There's fragmentation, and this makes it difficult for strict land administration in Ghana. But joining me to discuss this better is Kingsley Boating. He's a professional land surveyor, and also surveyor Maxwell Lukuto. He is a board member for the Volta Regional Land Commission. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, and let me say hi to all land surveyors,
right,
especially members of LISAC, Land Surveyors Association of Ghana, also members of the Land Surveying Division of the Lands Commission. We have different categories of surveyors. The land surveyors, the valuation, estate valuation and estate surveyors, and we also have the quantity surveyors. We are part of the Land Surveying Division of the Lands Commission. And so just as you are saying, we are members of the Ghana Institute of Surveyors, all put together. And so just as you're saying, the land surveyor is the one that does demarcation of boundaries and of land property. The licensed surveyors are ones that are licensed, kind of chartering to be allowed to do cadastral survey. Cadastral surveys are the ones that we do that produce site plans that allows you to attach to an instrument for registration. And so that is the division of the surveying that we are advocating for. I am a member of the Licensed Surveyors Association of Ghana. We have done a little research into the different types of laws that govern land administration in Ghana, especially pertaining to surveying. And we've come to realize that we have different fragments of it, about 13 different places that we have land being scattered. I must also say that this program is being powered by BUSAC in consultation with LISA. And so the different types of laws we have: one, the Land Registry Act of 1962, Act 122. We also have the Survey Act of 1962, Act 127. We have the Survey Regulation, the Supervision Approval of Plans of 1989, LI 1444. We also have the Land Registry Act of 1986, that's PNDC Law 152, the Land Title Registration Regulations 1986 LI 1341.
So clearly, those are a lot of laws, and like you're saying, they're scattered all over. But we will want to find out exactly how you think this current legal framework poses a challenge to you in executing your duties.
Yeah, what it does to us is that, you see, because there are surveying being carried out at different portions. Even within the timber resource management sector, we have survey going on. We think that we have bits and pieces of this law scattered all over. And so it will do us a lot of good if we're able to put all of them together into one complete document. That anything that has to be done with surveying, one goes there and find exactly what you need to do. And so we have the land bill currently at Parliament being looked at. Our advocacy now is to make sure that we push and make sure that they do the right thing by consolidating and harmonizing all this law so that we have a complete thing that we work with. So this is an appeal to Parliament, it's to civil society, it's to all of us who have anything to do with survey, that let us push and make sure that Parliament does the right thing.
So if I may ask, what implementation strategy are you employing to make sure that this advocacy does work, and what are some of the expected outcomes you're looking for?
Well, I must say that this is part of the strategy. And then also we're doing a lot of CPD as continuous professional. And then we're doing some other advocacy on the FM stations also. And then we also making sure, talking to the Lands Commission on issues that borders survey and the practice. And we're also making sure that, like you were saying, the harmonization of these laws so that the practicing can be enhanced. And it could reflect modern technology as it is now. The laws that we have in our statutory are laws that doesn't reflect the current technological advancement. And so it is very necessary that these laws are harmonized and updated to reflect currently what we do as it is now. Some are agitating that we should be able to even use images in terms of site plans or cadastral plans and whatnot by use of drones and whatnot. And then you have global positioning systems, navigational systems coming into play, mobile GIS and other things. And all these things must be captured in the law. Because if not, then it means that the practicing is not being enhanced. And it always looks as if it's expensive. Whereas if we had really harmonized and updated our laws, things would have been more flexible to manage. Good. So as part of this advocacy, we are telling the public, or we are telling Parliament, or we are telling the executive that things need to be done faster. The land bill and the survey council bill are sitting on their desks, and we expect action.
I'm interested in finding out, so far in your engagements, do you seem to get the sense that people understand the need for this harmonization of the laws, or they just think we're making noise about nothing?
I'm sure they understand, because if you look at the land bill, the main objective is for us to harmonize all these things, because it does nobody any good if you have scattered laws. Anybody does anything. For instance, some of the laws allow some kind of site plans to be attached to instruments for registration, where subsequently, if there's a better or a more accurate version of it, then there's conflict. I heard you saying that you have a site plan, another person has his, you overlap, and then there's some gray area between both of you. It is because the basis for the production of the two different site plans may be different. Maybe somebody might have done a GPS survey, and another person would have done a compass survey. Of course, it doesn't mean that the compass survey may be wrong, but if you don't apply the necessary techniques that you need before you produce the site plan, then it will bring out those differences. That's the very reason why we need professionals to help us. It will interest you to know that the ratio now is our 1 surveyor to 100,000 of the citizens. So we need more people trained properly. That's why LISAC is taking up this responsibility to make sure that we do the advocacy. We allow people to understand the reality of the situation on ground. It is not in our interest for people to complain about surveyors. You go to court, people complain as if we are a bunch of people who don't know what we are about. But it's because we allow people who are not so qualified to come into the game to play. That is why some of these things happen.
So just finally touch on the partners, you know, joining forces with you to make sure that the implementation becomes a reality.
Well, we're talking about the major stakeholders, Lands Commission, the GHI, is Ghana Institute of Surveyors, the LS Division, and the QS and the quantities. And then you have licensed surveyors. You know, by law, it's the licensed surveyors who are mandated to do survey demarcating boundaries for attachments to an instrument and whatnot. And so these are things that we are looking at. And of course, we have some other stakeholders like the Geological Survey, the Mineral Mining and Mineral Commission, and all the other agencies. Of course, anybody who deals with land.
So every citizen, actually.
I think what we are looking at finally is that we have a survey council, or we have an authority about survey, so that once you are thinking about survey, you go to the authority and you have everything to you. For instance, we have the Ghana Standards Authority now. Everything about standards, you go there and you find. It shouldn't be like when you go to Timber, they have their own rules. If you come to some other place, they have their own rules. We should have a standardized way. Yes, of course, there will be differences in the level of accuracies that we expect from some of these things. But at least let all of them be in a particular document for us to look at and be sure that these are the things we want to get done.
Well, we certainly hope that this advocacy will bring results, because when you have the results, we all will benefit from that. Unfortunately, time will not allow us to do so much advocacy today, but we'll give you more time another day to do that. I have been speaking to Surveyor Kingsley Boateng. He's a professional land surveyor, and Surveyor Maxwell Lukutor. He's a licensed surveyor, board member of the Volta Regional Land Commission. And we have been talking about harmonizing all the laws to make sure that's in one concerted efforts to make sure that this land registration issues and land tenure system, land administration system in Ghana is simplified and easy for everyone. But